Howdy guys, welcome back to another one. In tonight's video, we are doing another buck and ball assembly, this time in 3" 12 gauge. The previous one was 2 3/4" 20 gauge. Now lately, we've been getting more into buck and ball shells. They're a lot of fun, especially whenever you have the ball go exactly, well not exactly, but roughly where you're aiming, and then you have a few buckshot pellets around it in a circle. That's always awesome to see. You don't always get that, but with the stuff we've been putting together here, it's pretty often the case that we have a circular pattern, ball in the middle, and the buckshot in a circle around it. Again, that's always really fun to see. But the sizes we're using today, again, 3" 12 gauge. We are using 32 cal single aught buck, which is what most factories use as their double aught, and a 60 cal round ball. The 60 cal round balls weigh roughly 3/4 ounce, and we are using 8 pellets of the 32 cal single aught for a total lead payload weight of 1 5/8 ounces, exactly 1.625. And once we add buffer, it's going to bring it up to a 1 11/16 ounce payload. So in between ounce and 5/8 and ounce and 3/4. So the idea behind buck and ball goes back quite a long time, and it's still even offered today through some factory offerings. It's a lot of fun, guys. If you haven't tried it, I suggest giving it a go. The way to how should I say this? The way we have found works best is using a non-tox wad like this LBC 50 here. That's the wad we're using today. Or you can use a regular target wad like a clay buster or downrange, something like that. That works okay too, but you won't have the buckshot and the ball all within the wad in most cases, whereas with the non-tox wads, all of it is inside the wad. Pattern's much better. Going over the components, we are using this stuff right here, my favorite. Number of the day is 26 in a brand new clear primed Shadot hull. This one is already filled with the magic dust. On top of that, we are using again the LBC 50 wad. We are going to slit this 4 petal full cut, not 3/4. If you're not using a ported choke, then the LBC 50 wad and others like it have bad tendencies to not release all of the buckshot, and you don't really want that. You want buckshot to do what buckshot is intended to do. So what I recommend doing, as well as Wade Rush and Roger Atkins, anybody that you see really use this wad, is to go ahead and slit it all the way down, however many petals you want, but slit it into the little windows you see right here. Those are the hinge points. You want the blade to go in the middle of the hinge point, basically divide it. And well, I'll go ahead and do that for you right now using Gary Caskey's 4-petal adjustable wad slitter. This one is for 10 gauge, but it will do 10, 16, and 12, and some 20 gauge wads, not all, but some. So all I'm doing is lining up the blades with the windows, the hinge points, and pushing down. You heard it click in. That is where it went through the hinge points. You can see right there what I'm talking about, I think. Let me pull it off here. Okay, so I know this is hard to make out. Front-facing iPhone camera sucks for video quality, but I think you guys can see it is cut into the hinge points. Yeah. To help it out even more, I recommend just bending these petals a little bit. The LBC 50 has, well, the LBC wads in general have really thick petals. You can see that Gary's slitter makes 4 perfectly even petals. That is awesome to see. Okay, so for filler, I'm using a 1/4 inch 20 gauge felt wad here. That's going to add some cushion, will help with pressure spikes, help with pressure in general, I guess. But it's also going to bring stack height up to where it needs to be, and also it will prevent the buckshot from busting through the bottom of the wad. We have seen that if you're not using any sort of a cushion wad or filler wad like a nitro card, those will work too here, but I recommend using the 1/4 inch 20 gauge felt. After that, we are using, well, besides the pellets, original buffer. And guys, that's pretty much it. Maybe an overshot card. I always leave the overshot card out, but I use them in like 95% of my assemblies here. So we just need 8 pellets of 32 cal single aught. Again, that is the size that most factories use as double aught. Once the 8 pellets are in, we're going to add 1 scoop of buffer. That was the Lee 2.2 cc dipper. Grab the vibrating massager and vibrate that down into place. And turn off. The top row of the pellets is about 3/4 of the way covered, and that's really all you need. Next, set the ball on top of that, add a little bit more buffer, and then we can fold crimp this, or roll it if you want to. I like fold crimps better. Okay, so once you have the 8 pellets in, and the 60 cal round ball, and the buffer around it, you're pretty much ready to crimp this. I'll try to do this one without the overshot card. It looks like I may not need it. Stack height looks like it's correct. But back station of the Lee Lodahl is the 6-point. Pre-crimp came out, well, that's probably too much. We'll see. That looks like it's too much. Rebacitor, and yeah, it's too much. This one's gonna come out ugly. I pulled down way too hard on that, but still, go ahead and close it up anyway. It don't matter what it looks like. I just like, you know, making pretty looking shells for the camera. You can see, hopefully, the middle of that crimp is a little swirly, and again, that's because way too much pre-crimp. But just don't go that deep with the pre-crimp like I did, and yours will come out perfect. It happens. Before anyone asks, no, the ugly crimp does not hurt anything, it's just ugly, but I will finish this with a GOT BN2 off camera to give it a taper and hopefully ease some of its burden. I'll get back with you guys in one moment. So here it is with a different view, different angle. Clear holes make it hard to see the taper, but it is tapered. The crimp, once again, is a little bit swirly, and if we look at the top edge of the hull, you can see some slight castling going on. Again, that's because I put way too much pre-crimp on it, but it's okay. Yes, there is a little hole, but that round ball in there seals it up completely. You ain't got to worry about buffer spilling out of that at all. The crimp could be better, but it's also far from the worst I've ever done. Normally, I prefer my crimps to look like these, but like I said, they can always be pretty. These are all 10 gauge, besides the green one here, that's just 3" 12. But those are really good crimps. This over here, let me get it, not so much, but still not horrible. I can live with that. So, I guess I'll end this one with a question. What are your guys' thoughts on buck and ball? Do you think they're stupid? Do you think they're cool? We personally think they're pretty cool, and we like shooting them. But we'd like to hear your guys' opinion too. Also, if you have any suggestions for buck and ball assemblies, let us know, and we'll try to pull it off here. But we want to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. We always appreciate that. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section below, and we'll get back to you. And if you want to, go check out our Patreon. It's as low as $1 a month, and you guys get early access to content. A link to that, as well as a link to our Instagram, Rumble, and merch store will be in the description below. But other than that, you guys take it easy, and we'll see you in the next one.